Hello, and welcome to the Brad Beldon Show, your go-to podcast for all things roofing, the latest buzz in San Antonio, local politics, and just about anything else under the sun. This afternoon, I want you to introduce everybody to my good friend, Greg Luterman, our Sika Sarnafil rep. Greg, welcome to the Brad Beldon Show, and thank you for driving down from Austin through all the torrential downpours today to share your insights on what you know about the roofing industry.
Well, thank you, Brad, first of all, for having me and putting up with me talking a lot today. So I'll do my best, but we really appreciate the platform. But I have one point. You guys have been around since 1946. Do you have a phone book for me that I can sit on to get a little extra height over here?
Well,
I need to kind of get up to your height.
We already put you in the only high chair that we have, so you're kind of stuck right now.
Great. Thank you for that. I appreciate that very much. But yeah, looking forward to some great conversation today and make it fun for the listeners and see if we can't talk a little bit about roofing and how fun it is.
Sounds good. So for those of us who grew up in the industry, the brand Sika Sarnafil is well known in the industry, but not everybody knows what Sika Sarnafil is and really even knows what PVC roofing is. So could you give us some insight to our listeners about Sika Sarnafil and the PVC membranes that y'all manufacture?
Absolutely. In fact, I'd like to not only talk about the PVC membranes, but some of our other offerings. And I want to give an example of how good I think Sika Sarnafil is. My whole career, it's been thrown in my face. Greg, we like you, but you're no Sarnafil. So it's great to be on this team and part of it. But recently, we just went through a merger with Master Builders. And I'll tell you how good and proud I am of Sika is that we've integrated a whole new team with us from Master Builders, and we've made them, they felt comfortable. Sika's really wanted to make sure that we didn't interrupt other people's lives. And I think that's very important to me, how good that they've been, not only to that company, but to us. We have amazing product offerings here. Not only on my side, the PVC single ply membrane, our fluid applied or liquid applied membrane roofing, and we have a modified bitumen as well that we'll talk about here. So I really think we can offer a complete roofing solution to our customers, and that's what's so important.
A complete umbrella, a water exterior umbrella system for the entire building envelope.
I like to call it a complete roofing and waterproofing peace of mind.
So I know you went over a little bit about Sika Sarnafil, but I don't think people really understand. Sika is probably the largest construction manufacturer in the world.
Yeah, we started out making concrete mixtures for tunnel drilling in Europe and grew from there, which is amazing. So we really can offer a complete solution for the customer from the ground up.
And how many employees worldwide does Sika have?
About 33,000.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, based out of Switzerland, headquarters in all the countries. And I got to tell you, it doesn't feel like a large company. It really is very homey. And I've met our CEO a couple of times, and he actually remembered me, which was really impressive.
What I think is fascinating about Sarnafil is that through all the acquisitions, nobody's left. We still have the same contacts that we've been working with year after year after year. You don't see that often. And so I think that says something special about Sika.
Yeah, thank you. I agree with that 100%. And for me, that's been at the company now 5 years, in the industry 30, you don't see that anywhere. But Sika, you do.
Well, and the brand, regardless of what product, the logo speaks for itself. It just infers incredible brand name recognition, high quality, integrity.
We have, I've got two new associates here with me in Central Texas, Aaron DeHaan up in the Austin area and Abby Whitaker here in the San Antonio area. And I've told them from the beginning, when you make phone calls, everyone's going to know the name Sika. And they've all said that to me. You were right. We don't get hung up on. They're like, oh, Sika, great. And it's got great brand recognition.
And we've always known it as Sarnafil. And it wasn't until recently, 7, 8, 10 years ago that Sika bought Sarnafil,
Correct.
and they were very careful to protect that Sarnafil name.
Very much so. And what I like about it also, they were careful of protecting the master builders employees as well when they came over. So I think that's been really great, the way Sika handled everything.
So, Greg, what are some of the unique features and benefits of Sika Sarnafil's PVC roofing systems compared to the materials in the market?
Yeah, great question. And it's something that, we always get asked, what separates you from everybody else? A
Well,
couple
I
of
can tell you it's certainly not your height, right?
That's
Although
exactly
that
right.
does separate you from
My
everybody
height
else.
or my voice or my hair. So absolutely, but that's it. Really, what I like about, and this all applies through our product line, guaranteed thickness membranes, our fire resistant qualities of PVC. I'm just kind of naming out a couple right now, but guaranteed thickness, fire resistance. And the most important, we've been making the same formulation in our PVC membrane for over 60 years. It's not changed since we started. That also holds over to our modified bit line that we've had for many, many years and not changed. And our liquid applied membrane line has been same formulation, same products for over 20 years.
So, you mentioned the modified bitumen.
Mm-hmm.
Sika Sarnafil has always been known in the U.S. as a single ply company.
Yeah.
And recently, you made us aware of your modified bitumen line from overseas. I assume y'all will be releasing it at the upcoming IRE show next month in Las Vegas. Can you walk us through what makes that product different than anything else in the marketplace today?
Yeah, great question. What I like about our Sika Shield line, beside the fact that we have the approvals, hail, wind, uplift, like everybody else does, our warranties are a little more inclusive. We can go up to 25 years on our Sika Shield, but the number one important thing with our Sika Shield line is our hybrid cap sheet membrane. So we have a cap sheet, especially here in our surfacing sheet here in Texas, that's got SBS on the bottom. It's modified with a trilaminate reinforcement, polyester, fiberglass polyester, and APP on the top. So here in Texas, when we've got this massive heat that we have, you're not swimming in it up there and you don't track it everywhere, but we still get the good adhesion from the SBS. And I really think that's what's going to set us apart.
So for our listeners who don't know the difference between atactic polypropylene and SBS.
Yeah, styrene, butylene, styrene.
So in essence, the SBS has a lower melting point. And on many of the products that you have in the marketplace, when you walk on that, when in San Antonio or in Austin, when it's 100 degrees outside, it's about 140 on the rooftop.
Yeah.
And when you walk on that with the SBS, your feet start to move. With the APP membrane, it's a higher melting point, and it doesn't tend to move as much. It's set pretty much in stone. The granules are set there. What I think is interesting about your product, and in the 40 plus years I've been in this industry, it's the first product I've seen that used that hybrid approach. I've seen different mats being used, whether it was fiberglass or polyester combined, or even dual polyester. I've never seen anybody combine an SBS modifier on the bottom and an APP on the top. And I think that really could be a catalyst for change in our industry.
Yes, great. I'm not the chemist. We have an amazing product manager in Juliana Grippa that came over from Italy, Sika Italy, to launch this line in the US. And she explained to me, because my initial was like, how do we combine a rubber with a plastic on top? But the chemistry of the plastics that are used such that it does meld together and is compatible. And the cost and price in the marketplace, we are within everybody else in the marketplace.
No, I've seen it to be very competitive. I find it intriguing. I think that at the IRE show next month, that it will be a hit. And I think from an institutional buyer standpoint, the fact that you can have the best of both worlds in one product at a competitive price really will resonate with a lot of the buyers.
Absolutely, especially because it could be installed in various different ways: torch applied, cold applied, even hot applied, if that's what's needed. But another story about Sika that you mentioned to kind of tie all this together, we make everything. So it's not like we're private labeling our single plies. Sika Shield line, we make it. We have, I think, 5 factories in Italy, and they're being brought over. And our fluid applied division, all of our liquid applied membranes, we make as well. So I think that sets us apart that not only do we make it, our tech managers are being trained by the chemists to install it properly. So our whole company is touching this product from cradle to grave.
So it's funny you should mention that. When Beldon Roofing got into the modified business, my mother met Jerry, I think it was Pierman, from Tamco,
Hmm.
and I forgot where my mother met him, and my mom convinced him to sell us direct, and it was Tamco Awa Plan, and we were buying more of the Awa Plan than anybody in the market. And so I went to Jerry and said, "Hey, could we private label it as Plan?" And he just looked at me, didn't smile, nothing. And this guy laughed about everything. And he just looked at me straight in the face and said, "No." Never had the discussion with him ever again. Nobody wanted to private label for us, but we've been installing modified bitumen now for over 40 years. And like I said, this is the first significant change. You know, when Durbagum came into the market
Hmm.
with their APP in the 70s, really you had Tamco and Durbagum were the leaders in South Texas.
Yeah.
And we've seen a huge shift over the last couple of years. And I think it's exciting because that institutional buyer needs a roof that will withstand a lot of people going up there, right? If you had a retail center, not many people went up there. PVC, TPO, any of those products, great solution, cost effective. But you put a school together, a public building where you have, 25 AC units, 15 roof drains, a kitchen. You're going to have people walking up on that roof all the time. And I
Yeah.
think the modified bitumen solution is a great product for that institutional buyer.
What I like about it is it now gives us that we can go to that institutional buyer and really sell them on life cycle costing and do a life cycle analysis for them. Now we truly can give this customer all the tools that they need to make the proper decision at the right budget. And I love that having extra products in our
Well,
line.
and not every building is the same. You may have half the building doesn't need modified, but has less traffic, and you can put PVC up on that. And so it enables you to give more product offerings for the same building. And so, is there talk of a hybrid system out there?
There is talk of a hybrid system. We're doing our testing now. Um, we kind of like to keep because with the PVC, you want to keep the asphalt separate as much as possible so you don't get any of the bleed through or the tobacco juicing. But yes, hybrid systems are out there. Um, there's many great manufacturers. We have multiple systems with all the ratings, FMUL, Texas Department of Insurance. So yeah, great offerings out there.
Well, I think that what we've seen a lot recently is that hybrid approach, and
Mhm.
I think trying to lower the rooftop temperature and create a long-term solution for many buyers is really a good solution.
Especially when you have a lot of equipment on the roof, that roof is going to take a beating. It's great to have that the redundancy, kind of multiple layers of waterproofing up there. And at Sika now we can truly offer everything.
So Greg, years ago I went up to Boston and went through your training program with some consultants and some other roofing contractors. There's a lot of misconceptions in roofing about PVC.
Hmm.
How are y'all, as one of the industry leaders, going about educating the end user the differences of PVC or TPO or any other product line in the marketplace, and why TPO is good on some roofs and why PVC is good on other roofs?
Yeah.
How do you go about educating that end user about the endless supply of roofing systems out there in the marketplace?
Absolutely. It's really, and it goes back to what I said before, it's about educating the customer, giving them the right tools to make the decision what's best for their budget. we don't want to just push something really expensive. We want to push what's better for them. But what we have found at Sika is if we can arm our customer with the knowledge, then the customer has a buy-in as well. And the customer works with you to make the right decision for their building. And that's the way I've always gone to market is educating the customer, giving them, asking the right questions. What do they need? What are they looking for? You know, far too many people out there is just saying, I've got an 80 mil, push it, it's the best, it's the cheapest. Well, we don't want to, it's not a race to zero here. We want to do the right thing for the customer that'll help them budget and plan for the future. And that's how we go to market.
And what we tell customers, if you had two warehouses side by side, same building, same east-west orientation, the usage of that building will dictate the roof system that we recommend. It's not always the same.
Absolutely. And that's such a good point. And one of the other benefits that Sika brings to the market is us as sales reps, when we bring a roof that we want to bid or we want to go over, we have an amazing technical team at Sika that they are hands-on involved. We work together with them to design the right roof. And there are times maybe that a customer might say to us, your competitor is doing this, and you know what? It's time to walk away from that. You've got to learn, because our industry is so litigious and there are a lot of issues, we want to do the right thing. And if not, then I'm going to walk away from a job.
So my father told me years ago, probably 30 years ago, maybe 40, he said, you never lost money on a job you didn't do.
Correct.
And that's resonated with me for a very, very long time. And sometimes customers ask us to install systems that we know will fail. Great membrane, great system on somebody else's building, but on your building, that's not an appropriate application.
Yeah.
And it won't last. And our philosophy at Beldon is it's your total installed cost, not what we put down on day one. And if that lifespan, if you're flipping the building, I might recommend Sika Plan, or I might recommend a 60 mil TPO or something else. But if we ask them, one of the first questions we ask, is this a long-term hold or are you selling? Because that also dictates the system that you might recommend to an owner.
One of the reasons why I'm here and I accepted your invitation is you are truly our partner at Sika. And I'm going to go to business, and we go to business with our partners. And if I don't have that partner, I'm not going to deal with that type of a roof. So to me, this is very important, is having that partnership. I've even got my new associate saying, don't worry, we'll re-roof it in 3 years anyway. So if we lose a job, we're going to get it.
So you're consider the jobs that you lost as backlog.
Backlog. Absolutely.
That's one way to look at it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you, Michael and Doug, for backlog.
You've been with Sika for 5 years. Your predecessor company, Trimco, moved you out to California, and another partner for Beldon. And rumor has it that you actually moved out there to be a stand-in for Danny DeVito, and it had nothing to do with the roofing. Can you let the fan base know whether or not that's an accurate statement? Because I mean, when you walked in the door, even today, I almost said, "Hey, Danny." I mean, everything.
That's how it rolls. I'm actually a closet rock star, so I moved out there to be a rock star. Because my acting is horrible, but I love to talk and everything. But my wife said your voice is horrible. But even more important, I really wanted to try out for Van Halen when David Lee Roth left. But Sammy Hagar beat me to it because of the LA traffic. I couldn't make it in time. And also Van Luterman. I don't know.
No, Van Luterman would not have gone over very
I like
well.
Van Hagar much better. But yes, I want to be a closet rock star.
So you don't think you and I could be twins separated at birth?
No, you're better looking than I am. So,
so was Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, that's true. Twins.
Yeah. So
you got it.
So you talked about warranties earlier. You briefly spoke about it. For those listeners who don't know what a roofing warranty is and what the differences are between roofing warranties, Could you educate our listeners as to what the difference is between a NDL warranty and a standard warranty?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, first of all, I want to answer your question, but then I'm going to tell you my thoughts on warranties here. So, an NDL warranty is a no dollar limit warranty. Every manufacturer does provide some type of protection and help, whether it's up to the amount that you spent on the membrane, or it's the amount that it costs to repair a leak over the life cycle. To me, Brad, I think it's so important, and I tell my customers, don't buy a warranty. Go with the right manufacturer, the right roofer for the right budget. Warranties are written, by us. Now, to me, it's having the right contractor, because the right contractor really can make any roof be amazing. What I do like about Sarnafil's warranties are they're one page. There's not 5 pages of, okay, you can do this, but you can't do that. Or you have to contact us on the 11th day of the 6th month of that year in order to extend the warranty. We want to make it easy for our customers to be involved. And what's nice that we have a separate warranty department also that helps manage those warranties, any leak calls. Instead of getting us involved also, we send to them, but we all work together. So I think it's great. There's a great division at our company that everyone can work together and help out.
And,
I hope that
and
kind of says a little bit about the warranties. But again, do the right thing for the customer at the right budget, and by all means, get the right contractor.
and so on those warranties, I tend to agree with you that they're not worth the piece of paper they're written on in many instances,
Mhm.
because there's so many outs in many of the manufacturer's warranties. And one of the things that we try and educate our customer on is the need for preventive maintenance. And we have a program we call the Roof Extend program, where we go out and we look at your roof twice a year and evaluate it for premature degradation, for maybe somebody threw a tennis ball up on the roof and landed in the roof drain and you're not aware of that, and look for signs that could lead to the roof failing faster. And yet, even though it's in the warranty and it says it's the owner's responsibility to have that done, most owners, and I'm talking 99% of the owners, aren't willing to spend that extra couple of pennies a square foot. And it's mind-boggling to me, because at the end of the day, whether it's you or any other manufacturer, you have an out. And I don't understand why customers don't. You will not drive your car more than 3,000 or 5,000 miles, maybe 7,500 a day, without changing the oil.
Yep.
But customers don't understand the value of going up there and looking at your roof. To me, I always view it as out of sight, out of mind.
I always get, in my whole career, I've said, I just paid all this money for a roof. Why do I need to do maintenance? Well, you buy a $400,000 Rolls Royce, you still have to change the tires
And the oil.
and the oil. So you got to look at it like that. It just depends not on what you spend, but it's the right thing to do for that roof. I can't tell you how many times I've been on a school that I roofed 3 months earlier, and they have roof leaks, and I go up and I find tennis balls and balls covering the drain. Always
Happens all the
recommend,
time.
even our governing body, the National Roofing Contractors Association, I might be wrong, but I think they recommend spending at least 2 cents a year per foot on maintenance on your roof.
And we recommend, 2 to 5 cents.
That's our governing body. It's so important to do maintenance. You have an air conditioning, you've got to change the filters on it or you're going to burn it out. To me, maintenance is the number one thing that's important for that owner. The other thing with maintenance is you can go into the owner and talk maintenance, get them to then trust you because you're fixing some of their pain points. And now you have a customer for life just doing maintenance and leak calls.
So in essence, somebody should hire us like Spider-Man to climb up onto the roofs and
Yeah.
check them
Well,
out for them.
You know me, I'm not going to climb up there. So,
So speaking of Spider-Man, Greg, you moving to California, I still think that
Yeah.
you wanted to be in there with Danny DeVito. If there was one character on TV that you wish you could be, what is that character and why? And it can't be just a taller. You can't just be
because I'm
Shaquille
too
O'Neal,
short.
so you'd be so much taller. Yeah.
Perfect. There is a show on Adult Swim on Comedy Central called Rick and Morty, and I would be Rick. He's a mad scientist, and he can invent anything he wants and does,
So it's like Back to the Future.
like Back to the Future, and he can do time travel.
Did you see your mother in Back to the Future?
So I would be Rick on Rick and Morty because I am horrible at building and making things. You know the old adage, those that do play, those that don't coach. So I can coach, but I can't do it. So
And you won't be Spider-Man to climb on the roofs for us?
no. Although a funny story, when I started in the industry, 2 questions were asked to me by my old manager. You may be watching, Jordan Miller, great guy at Tremco. He said, "Are you afraid of heights?" I go, "Well, no." And he said, "Well, how do you know?" And he's right. You didn't know till you
Well, I'm afraid of heights. I can tell you that right
get
now.
up right there.
Yes.
And so that was
This
funny.
is about as high as I can go without being
Pretty tall.
scared.
And then my wife said to me in the beginning, "So you just take an elevator up to the roof, right?" I go, "I wish." So yeah, ladders. I'll just put a ladder up. We'll get on the roof. But
Yeah,
I can't pull a Spider-Man for you.
I tell our son all the time, Marshall, you have no idea what it's like to carry a 32-foot ladder put up on the side building. I tell him, when I did my test cuts, it was uphill to carry the bag and it was uphill coming back down, Marshall. And it was in the hot sun in the middle of the summer. Yeah,
When I started, got a great story also. When I started, they sent me out to go look at this one job. And I pull up to the job, this is in Southern California, and I see a 40-foot wood ladder on the side of the building.
those used to give me splinters.
Yeah, and we have the Santa Ana winds out in Southern California. I get up about halfway. I'm 25, and I'm doing this. I am shaking back and forth, thinking in my head.
That was before you and I were overweight, right?
Yeah, I was thin. I was thin back then. And then about halfway up, all the roofers are on the side looking at me and laughing. I get up on the roof, and they pointed to the roof hatch. And I'm like, gosh. So I got teased.
So my dad got mad at me because when I got in the business, so I came back here in '88, but I started when I was 12, and from 12 to 18, I worked in the summers out in the field, and they taught me how to come down the ladder with my foot brake. And I used to tell my dad that I could come down the ladder in, I don't know, 8 seconds or whatever it was. And my father would just get livid. I'm like, "Dad, that's how everybody comes down the ladder. We don't use the steps. You just got to learn how to apply the brakes, and you just have to apply the brakes before you hit the bottom." Of course, we don't look at the world that way anymore.
Correct.
And really, if you look at what OSHA's done to our industry, as hard as it is with OSHA and some of the rules and regulations that they have, they've changed the industry. They've made it safer. The manufacturers have made products that make it safer to install, easier to install, less opportunity for our team members to get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that OSHA inadvertently became an ally for roofing contractors and for roofing manufacturers.
I agree. I really love what they've done. And anybody that I train and I talk to in our industry, I always tell them safety is number one. We always look underneath if we can to see what we're dealing with. You ask the customer as well if they had any issues, but really OSHA has really saved us. I mean, I've known 5 or 6 people that have fallen, one person that passed, and you don't hear much about that anymore, which is a good thing.
No, it's a really good thing. I think
Yeah.
OSHA's done a lot of good things for us.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we hear frequently from our customers is cost versus quality. And Sika has a wider range of products across, a very, very affordable to really expensive systems, depending on the use. What is y'all's mindset on cost versus quality, and why we would recommend to a building owner one product over another?
Quality is number one. And I think by quality going on number one, it goes to the very beginning of how long have we been making that one product? How long has it been in our product line? Quality is number one.
Your number one product has been at least 60 years.
60 years, correct.
Older than me.
Older than you. That's so shocking there. But
not older than my wife, I might add, right?
No, but she's better than you, so
yes.
that's okay. Yeah, hi Sunberg.
So I should actually call her Sika.
No, you call her Sunberg. No, I never talk cost. The second you start getting into cost, you lose. Educate the customer. Talk about the benefits, talk about the quality. But the other thing that I try to do, and I always try to tell my new associates as well, and I get in trouble because I end up geeking out over roofing. Don't how do I say this? You don't talk about numbers. The second you get into that, you're going to lose. Talk about the right thing to do for that owner and help them, educate them. And I think that will ingratiate you with them.
So I think the human mind is willing to accept price differences. Ford, the F-150, I think there's 42 versions of the F-150, right? From an XL all the way to the Platinum, or
Yep.
I'm not even sure what the highest level is anymore. But if price was a determining factor, Audi wouldn't be in business, Mercedes wouldn't be in business. All those top line products wouldn't be in business, even from a clothing perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that people are willing to buy quality as long as they understand the value that's associated with that quality.
That's correct. And it's our job to educate that customer on the quality and everything. And I'll say to them, I'm not here to be a sales rep. I'm here to be your partner and your consultant and to help you to make this. But quality is so important. I mean, look how good Nordstrom has done, with them. They'll take anything back, whatever happens. And it's their quality and customer service.
Well, at Nordstrom's, they're going to walk around the counter every single time, right? It doesn't matter I don't care if you buy a pair of socks or you buy an $800 suit.
Mm-hmm.
They walk around the corner and they thank you for the business. You just don't see that anymore.
Correct.
In a lot of companies. So, being from California, you're going to have a different perspective than we are in grown and raised in Texas from the environmental perspective. But I think more and more end users are starting to ask us about the environmental impact of the products that we're installing. How does Sika Sarnafil address that, and what is y'all's go-to market for environmental, being environmentally friendly?
Such a great question, and it's something that Sika really drills into us. So we have a net zero commitment by 2050, which a lot of companies do, but what I've seen at Sika, they mean it. From having brand new division that we have, and we've got a person for every business unit at Sika that helps us with sustainability. The other thing that's very important about that, well, first of all, a lot of our products are being made water-based, getting rid of the solvents, talking all that.
Well, you really need that option in California now because
you have to for the
can't
Title
ship a
24.
solvent. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
For the Title 24. But I think it is so important that the top-down message to us at our company is sustainability and long-term thinking about, you and I grew up in the four-ply built-up world with gravel. I used to put down coal tar pitch. We never thought about what it's doing to our environment. Now, I think the whole industry is going to that, from PVC to fluid applied lines as well. But one important note about that, Brad, PVC is the one true sustainable product.
It's recyclable, right?
It's not only is it recyclable, it's almost 70% salt. It's chlorine and ethylene.
So I can eat your roof?
Well, I wouldn't do that. So there's a disclaimer. I didn't say that, everybody here. So that was from him. But it is the one true sustainable product out there, PVC.
So
And,
we hear from the institutional buyer
Yeah.
that the old four-ply roof lasts longer than a single-ply roof, right?
Mhm.
And so it's hard to convince that buyer that that's still, they think that's environmentally friendly because it lasts 30 years,
That's
right?
30 years.
And so it's an interesting challenge, and I think it will continue to become a bigger and bigger challenge. And whether it's the roofing contractor or the manufacturer, I think we all have to really focus on how that's going to change this industry going forward.
It goes back to the education of the customer and talking about it. Always ask the question. People are starting to talk about it, sustainability. And I think it's so important. I mean, with me, especially with kids and, potential, bigger family in the future. I want to leave this place in a good place for my family.
Well, and in doing so, if you were going to write a book about what you've done, and you were going to write an autobiography about all that history, I know what Marlene would say it would
Yeah.
be. What would you say your autobiography would be?
Stressful but successful.
Stressful, but I like that.
My everyday laugh, my everyday life, and my managers, Michael Johnson and Doug Kirk, all know that, and so other people at my company, they're like, this guy's got to calm down. We need him to last a little bit, but that's how I really like to thrive. I like the stress. I like all the different forces coming against me, and I think it helps me thrive.
So I bought the trademark thinking that you were going to write an autobiography, and with Marlene's permission, and I bought great things come in small packages. So that's not going to be it, huh?
Thank God she bought into that. Thank God she bought into that.
So Greg, last year you and I had a really big challenge. We were approached by the Spurs on putting on a new logo on top of what was then the AT&T Center.
Mm-hmm.
And neither one of us could talk to our significant others about it. We were under a really strict NDA, and Susan is still upset about it right now that I never was able to tell her. But what was unique about that project was that they wanted a color that wasn't really used for that application before. The end user wanted a color. You and I had no communication with the end user. It was through the buyer, and it presented a lot of challenges because that roof is 320 by about 160.
Mm-hmm.
That logo
in the middle.
Yeah, and it's about 15 stories in the air.
Mm-hmm.
We had a cutoff date, if I remember correctly, about August 5th or something. And to get that accomplished and to be done before the beginning of the season, there were some serious challenges for both of us. On your end, and y'all pulled it off, what were the things that y'all had to do to make it work? And why would customers want to know that if they're thinking of putting a logo on their facility?
First of all, it goes back to the partnership that we have with Beldon. I think that was extremely important for us to keep up that relationship, number one. But number two, Sika, they specialize in arenas. And I think we didn't want to lose an arena in our backyard when that's something that we specialize in roof logos. And there are other manufacturers that do it, but it just seems to be something that we gravitate towards. In my career, that was the second one I did. We did one at the Moody Center also in Austin.
Hook 'em horns,
Hook 'em
right?
horns. Yep. So it's great every time I see it. I'm like, that's my roof.
But you can't see the logo from the highway.
Oh, you're fine. You can see it. It's beautiful. But what's nice about it is that's one of our core businesses. So we're able to match any color that you want or the customer needs, and we're able to make it. That's one of the benefits also of the PVC membrane is that we can put the additives in there so that the color does stay, and we can match any color. Now, we do have 7 standard colors that we make all the time, but on the custom, like we did for the Frost Bank Center, which is beautiful and amazing. You guys did an amazing job. We were able to match it exactly, and everybody was happy about it.
Some of those letters are, I think the biggest letter, I think the F was like 30 feet tall. Yep. And it was really a challenge. Couldn't have pulled it off without y'all's help. There were a lot of pieces to the puzzle.
Yeah.
We actually fabricated the letters in our training center.
Yeah.
Re-rolled them back up, and then flew them all up there on the days where the center didn't have activity. And it was a lot of coordinated efforts with the Spurs, with Sarnafil, with Team Beldon, and what's great about those types of projects when the when other people around there don't know that you're doing the work, that means you're not interfering with their life and you're not interfering with the operations of the facility. That's kind of cool. We
It's a
solve
win.
people's problems. Yeah.
It's a win.
Yeah.
And that also goes back to how you can educate your customer on, say, the benefits of PVC, a single ply, a fluid applied system is educating, because the customer has to take all that into account. Someone might be cheaper, but they want to do this. Well, it's going to interrupt their operations. Can't do that. You got to be a true partner for that customer.
So one of the other options that we had suggested to the Spurs on the lower part of that facility, if you remember, the top part has a lower slope than the two sides, was to install the Sika Sarnafil Decor system because it's the PVC to look like metal.
Yeah.
For those of our viewers who don't know what that product line is, could you give us some insight into that product?
Oh, absolutely. And I wanted to bring up one more point. I'm sorry about the roof logo. Customers don't realize that that is a marketing space for them. It's not being used, and take it away from being a big old heat island up there and put something on there to help your customer market, because nowadays we have everybody's watching
All the air traffic.
all the air traffic. So to talk about our Decor system, and thank you for bringing that up because it's one of the systems I love. We can make a PVC roof look like a standing seam metal roof. What's nice about it is you don't get all the oil canning in the metal when it rolls out. If here in Central Texas, we have hail a lot. So the PVC will not show that hail marks on the metal roof. So that's what's nice about it. And we can make it any color that they want.
But you still have the 6 standard colors.
Including white, it'll be 7. Yes. And those are the standard colors, and we can make them a custom color, whatever the owner wants.
And it's DECOR for those viewers who are not familiar with the product. It's really cool. But I got to tell you, when I was in the Frostbank Center, I looked all over that facility for Marlene's cookies, but I couldn't find them. How in the world did Marlene get into the stuffed cookie business?
Yep. So for those of you who don't know, Marlene is my beautiful wife.
Actually, she's your better half.
She is a lot better than me. That's for sure. As you know, in your life, we're not the boss. And my wife came to me one day and said, I have a great idea. I'm really passionate about it, and I want to do it.
She came in and said, I want to make a stuffed cookie.
She said, I want to get in the cookie business. And I said, knock yourself out. So the story is, and she's going to kill me for saying this, she's the idea person and knows how to do all this, but I do the cooking. So I'm the cook, but this was her idea, her baby. And
so if you're the chef, then why haven't you made me a gluten-free, dairy-free stuffed cookie?
Well, you're not in California.
I can eat the cardboard, but yeah.
Come on. So no, it's coming.
My kids love those cookies.
Thank you. I'm sure it's coming. She's worked very hard on that, and I'm very proud of her, and she stuck with it.
Well, and the stuffed brand is cool. It's made here in Texas.
Made here in Texas, absolutely.
For Texans.
Yeah, so, stuffed, STUFT.
That's very, very cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Aside from the stuffed cookies, if you could have an unlimited supply of something in life, what would it be? And why?
Napa Valley Cabernet. 100%. That would be what I would
You do realize you're talking to the one guy in the entire United States that doesn't drink, right?
I know, but you do buy wine.
I do buy wine.
Yep. So I love it so much.
I do a lot of research on it.
That I probably would rather buy the wine than have food. I just enjoy it, but
you get really drunk if you don't have food.
I know, that's
right?
true. But what's kind of cool, from the day I met my wife, we've both liked the same type of wine. So it's kind of cool because not only is it a passion of mine, it's a passion of hers, it's a passion of our family. So yeah, if I can come back one day, I want to be a winemaker, and I want an unlimited supply of Napa Cabernet.
All the way into Texas? They won't be able to ship in the summer, so you have to get a lot in the winter.
We do. We'll order a lot in the winter.
So, Greg, as we wind down today, without giving away any secrets, What are the latest innovations in PVC roofing that Sika Sarnafil is working on?
Ah, great question. I'm glad you asked. I'm going to talk about all of our product lines on this real quick. So on the PVC side, which is great, is we're working on better systems for hail and wind uplift. We have our Sika plan line that we can go after and go up against TPOs. So for those of you, we have a nominal thickness membrane and a guaranteed thickness membrane.
So for our end user viewer who doesn't
Mhm.
understand what we're talking about on nominal,
So in our worlds, we're governed by an ASTM standard 4434, and that states that that membrane can be plus or minus 10 mils. So technically, if you think you're getting a 60 mil membrane per spec and per legal, you are actually getting, you could be getting a 54 mil. You could also be getting higher,
right?
66. So it's an average. Our warranties also guarantee the thickness. So if you're getting a 60 mil membrane, that's what you're getting up there. The other thing which is coming out, we have a 3-ounce felt back PVC that can go directly to single ply membranes, no cover board. So that's kind of cool on the PVC.
So when will that be out?
It's out now.
Oh, wow.
It's out now. They'll be talking about it at IRE as well. So no cover board, directly to single ply
With a
membranes.
3-ounce mat.
3-ounce mats.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
So not only helps with cost, but helps with labor and helps, minimal destruction to the owners, in there. The other thing on the fluid applied side are liquid applied membranes. We have fully reinforced and certain area reinforced. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little nervous here, but you can do fully reinforced or just reinforce the tough areas on the roof. But what I like is all the primers that we've come out with. Sika has a primer for everything. So we really truly can do the right thing for the customer on that. Also on the fluid applied side, we have a gravel restoration system that's come out. So give us a call about that. You'll love that, where we can leave the gravel in place and put a fluid applied membrane on top. Benefit of that is in the future, I don't have to tear it off. I can come back in 10, 15, 20 years, put another coat down and extend the warranty. And then again, we touched base earlier, our Sika Shield, our modified bit line, our hybrid cap sheet. That is, I think, a game changer.
And I think at the IRE show that it will be a game changer for a lot of people.
Yes, thank you.
So Greg, one of the things that we like here at Beldon are our cowbells.
Uh-huh.
And so we enjoy becoming, every year that we become an elite member, we appreciate the partnership that Sarnafil shares with us, and we have these throughout our building, and we're really proud of them, and we enjoy the partnership. There's a handful of manufacturers that just go above and beyond, and we appreciate that. We're just a small roofing company in San Antonio, and the fact that companies like Sika Sarnafil and some of the other manufacturers treat us like partners, that's really it's so much appreciated.
Yeah.
And this is not an easy industry. And with the deluge that we got in the last 2 days, everybody that didn't get their roof replaced 2 months ago in the middle of the summer, and now they need it replaced today, and it becomes very difficult. But as we end today's session, Greg, what's the last thing that you would like our viewers to know about Sarnafil and your product line, and how they could get a hold of you if they had some questions?
I think the most important thing that we talked about is for people to know about our culture and our people. We have such a great team, from product development to marketing to customer service. We have such a great customer service team that they work so hard. Our tech managers, they cover us, they protect us to make sure we're doing the right thing. And even more important, I like the fact that we truly can come to a customer with a complete solution for them. And I think that's so important for them to trust us, that I'm not pushing one product, but we're pushing Sika as a whole. And we have a whole team that can help them with their entire building. We are on, I am on LinkedIn. On our website, you can go to
Luterman with one T.
Luterman with one T. So, but we are available. My team covers Waco down to Laredo, the Rio Grande Valley out to El Paso. I've got a great team with Abby Whitaker and Aaron DeHaan, who couldn't make it here today. And technically, I think that's where also we can help, is we are truly your technical solution for this.
Well, on behalf of Team Beldon, I thank you for the partnership.
Mhm.
I thank you for all the expertise that y'all bring to the table. We look forward to working with Abby, our new rep in our market.
Yeah.
We appreciate the fact that Sarnafil is investing in San Antonio. I want to thank you again for joining me today on the Brad Beldon Show.
Yeah.
It's your go-to podcast for all things roofing, the latest buzz in San Antonio, local politics, and clearly, as you've seen today, just about anything under the sun.
There you go. Love it.
Thanks again,
Thank
Greg.
you for the partnership, Brad. That means a lot.
Have a great day, everybody.
Great, Trey. Welcome.